Well, as we're waiting for more people to enter into the Zoom meeting, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Douglas Pritchard, a senior research fellow at the Cyprus University of Technology and a lecturer at Johns Hopkins University. And I'm joined today with Liz Lee.
Thanks, Doug. I'm Elizabeth Lee, or Liz. I am Vice President for Programs and Development at the U.S. nonprofit SciArc that focuses on digital documentation of cultural heritage to support conservation, management, and interpretation. So really nice to be here. Thanks for the organizing committee for putting everything together.
Yes, absolutely. This is an amazing event, and behind the scenes, it is probably one of the most well-planned events that I've been part of. So as we're waiting for more and more people to join in, I should point you to the screen that indicates all the organizations that are behind this initiative, from the commercial organizations that have generously sponsored equipment and software and services, and then as well the universities and other organizations that are actively participating in this initiative. So I think if you want to start, Michelle, we can go to the next slide. And Liz, I'll leave this to you.
Yeah. So a little bit of housekeeping for today's webinar. Just a reminder to always keep your microphones muted. We'd like everyone to use their real name, and you can change that by clicking on your name and clicking rename. Feel free to say hello throughout using the Zoom chat. And we're also going to be using Miro for additional interaction, and we'll be providing a link and a kind of quick overview of that shortly. And we'd like to remind everyone to be kind and courteous. We are also recording this webinar. And just a note, we had some people sign up for both session 1 and session 2. Session 2, which will take place later today, will actually just be a repeat of session 1. So if you're here today, no need to join for the second session. But of course, you're welcome if there's something you missed and want to get a clarification on something.
Excellent. So our next speaker is Miro Santana. And Miro, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Doc, and thank you, Liz, for welcoming everyone. And good morning to people in the eastern part of the world, and it's good night for us here in the West. So on behalf of the steering panel of our World Heritage, I will want to welcome you to this the second activity to our 12-month debates on World Heritage issues that will be held throughout 2021. Our World Heritage is a public initiative primarily aimed at developing a stronger role for civil society in World Heritage conservation efforts. Through this year of debates, we intend to develop a number of proposals for the enhancement of our World Heritage system in 2022 to mark the 50th anniversary of the World Heritage Convention. The 2021 debates aim to raise general awareness about the significance of our natural and cultural World Heritage sites and critical pressures that are encountering from increasing unsustainable development, industrial and mining operations, climate change, unsustainable tourism, and conflicts, among others, and to foster opportunities for the involvement of civil society in finding innovative, sustainable solutions. Our goal is to involve a large group of professionals, practitioners, NGOs, institutions, and citizens engaged in heritage protection, conservation, and management to organize a permanent network of civil society that is able to provide the public with an insight and rational perception of the status of the World Heritage sites. From the beginning, the initiative has given priority to overcome all barriers by working with cultural and natural heritage places in all regions of the world and across operations. So far, our World Heritage has held a successful virtual launch in November 2020, moderated by the dynamic international journalist Zainab Badawi. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to view it in our organization's website. and the wonderful 23 hours long 900 participants webinar organized in January 2021 by our team on transformational impacts of information technology, which has allowed us to build a robust network of organizations, professionals, and individuals interested in the topic. Today, we bring to your attention the first draft policy recommendations on how to enhance the use of information technology, to monitor our World Heritage sites, and to present multiple narratives through various tools of interpretation. On behalf of myself, our coordinator, Christina Cameron, and my co-convener, Haifaa Abedalhaleem, we want to thank you to be here. And also we'd like to thank the tireless work of many members of our team as volunteers and welcome you to today's webinar on moving forward innovative tools and untold histories in our World Heritage. We invite you, each of you, to get involved in all our activities and debates this year. We look forward hearing your ideas. So thank you so much, Doc and Liz. And we can go to our next speaker. Let me introduce to you our friend, Hyeseung Shim, who works as a researcher at the Digital Heritage Lab and is a PhD candidate at the Korea Advanced Institute of Sciences and Technology, KAIST. Prior to joining KAIST in 2018, she worked for 8 years at the UNESCO World Heritage Center in conservation and rehabilitation of World Heritage properties in the Asia-Pacific region. She also obtained professional experience in different areas of cultural heritage and the Establishment Initiative for Intangible Heritage Center and the UNESCO Bangkok office. She's currently a technical advisor for the Cultural Heritage Administration of Korea, and she holds a Master in Science in Cultural Technology and MA in Cultural Heritage Studies. So Hyeseung, the floor is yours.
Mario, for your opening remark and introduce myself to the audience. Thank you again for joining this event. I would like to talk about briefly our global competition. Our global competition was launched last November and closed on the 29th of January this year. This competition sought uses of technology that would increase community engagement in the monitoring, interpretation, and presentation of the World Heritage Site. The core objectives are to strengthen the monitoring and to enhance multiple narratives in the interpretation and the presentation of a World Heritage Site using information technologies. Before we give you a quick summary of the global competition, we would like to first take this opportunity to thank you all the team who submitted their letters of intention to this competition. So we have actually received a total of 36 proposals. As you can see in this world map, the presented proposals are coming from the old UNESCO region. You can see their geographical distribution from this map. The most of the submissions are targeted to the World Heritage Site, and other proposals are related to sites listed on World Heritage in danger. And a few proposals are concerned about the natural heritage sites. So the shortlisted entries will be announced at the end of today's webinar. Details and timeline to be explained shortly by our evaluation committee. And all proposals are laid out on our Miro board, so you are welcome to take a look and leave your comments on it. So our colleague Michelle will explain how to access this board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. So you'll see in the chat that Chunfeng has added the link to our Miro board. So if you haven't signed up yet for the Miro board, you can go to miro.com/signup, and please use your real name so that we can see your interaction. And if you have any questions, we can reply to you directly. So you can sign up there. If you want to go to the next slide, I just wanted to point out just some quick tips. So note that your mouse will be an arrow, but if you click V or you select the arrow, it turns into the pan hand. So you can move around without worrying about moving things. And two really easy things that you could do. One is to leave a sticky note. So you can type N, or you can click on the side there and add a sticky note and type a message. The other thing you could do is click on the comment or type C, and then type in a comment. You can reply to other people's comments. It'll be a conversation. If you find that you did something funny and you weren't sure what you did, you can type in Control Z, as most people are familiar with, to undo, or you can check the top left corner of your screen to undo what you had just done. So that's it for Miro. Feel free to interact on that board. And now I'm going to pass it back to Hyeseung so we can do some icebreaking activities.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Okay, so prior to moving to the next, we are going to do something fun. So for doing so, actually, I'd like to give you a quick ground rules on how you can participate in. So now we are going to post to you a polling link in the Zoom, in the Zoom chat by our techie. So can you please check the Zoom chat? Can everybody see the link? So once you see this link, please click the link. So after that, you can see this slide screen. So you will be directly connecting to this screen. So please enter your name and click the button continue. Then you will be ready to take part. So I guess everybody joined the first polling now. Okay, let's create a live cloud by telling us which UNESCO site you are associated with. We will give you 1 minute to submit your answer. So once you submit it, you can see how our cloud are being made. We are going to close in 10 seconds. Okay, now this poll is closed. So thank you very much for your active participation. We will share this amazing artwork through our social media. So we hope you enjoyed very much this ice-breaking polling. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hyeseung, and thank you, Michelle, for the Miro overview. With that, we're going to now move into some key policy themes that came out of the Globinar. So I'd like to pass it back to Mario Santana, who's also going to be joined by Divay Gupta and Haifaa Abedalhaleem.
I'm sorry, I was muted. Thank you. It's our daily routine with Zoom calls. So thank you, everyone. So the policy proposals that we're going to be presenting now have been gathered by our excellent policy team, who is coordinated by Laurie Smith and Christina Cameron, and many other of our colleagues have participated. And it has been an extensive task to collect all the information gathered by the different breakup rooms and activities of the Globinar and put all these ideas into a single text. So let's go to the next slide, please, Michelle. So, well, here you can see from the Globinar, the amount of people the amount of participation that we had. We had about 900 registrants from 91 countries from all continents. And we had speakers, panelists, anchors, moderators, technicians who help us with the overall platforms, and then rapporteurs who were instrumental to prepare the documents and the topics that we're going to be presenting to you in a second. And then also we use multiple platforms as we are using now for the webinar. So let's go to the next one. And I see the name of Divay, but I'm going to take over. Do you want to mention this, Divay?
Yeah, up to you.
So basically, the two main objectives of the policy recommendations, looking at the theme of transformational impacts of information technologies, and to many other of the themes of our World Heritage, is to build a robust global network of organizations, professionals, and individuals. And the second objective is to discuss ideas on how to enhance the use of information technologies for monitoring and presenting World Heritage sites. So as we can see here, this is the proposed timeline that we have been using as guiding for our activities throughout this first half of the year. So on January 9th, we hosted the Globinar, and after the Globinar, we launched our policy recommendations team, who has been working on the policy framework. So today on February the 6th, we're going to show you some of the initial ideas in view to the April 10th, which will be our final Globinar for this team, in which we will plan to have the first draft of the policy recommendations. Also parallel to the activities of our policy recommendations, we have been working on the global competition, and my colleague Hyeseung presented you the results of the first round. So soon we're going to show you the teams that are going to be in the second round of our global competition, and that will be submitting their final submission on April the 2nd. So the next one, please. And here you can see our policy team, which is composed by people from different stages of profession, different backgrounds, different regions of the world, and which is coordinated by Christina Cameron and Laurie Smith. Next slide. All right, so let's talk about the policy framework. So we have 6 policy questions, and then from these 6 policy questions, we have elements of recommendations and toolkit, and we're also going to be participating in some poll activities. So let's go to the first one. All right, so question number 1, what information technology characteristics are needed for effective monitoring of World Heritage sites? So elements of the recommendation are: be appropriate to specific needs, scale, location, limitation of the site, take a holistic approach to the cultural and natural balance of the site, be accessible, affordable, and practical, be interoperable across software and disciplines, keep current long-term sustainability, and follow ethical standards to protect data and natural and cultural assets. Next one. So let's take now a quick poll, and please rank the key information technologies characteristics for monitoring in order of importance. So go back to the previous link that you had obtained, and there you can see the different characteristics, and just select the one that you find. Just try to rank them according to the importance. This might take a little while. And when you're ready, just submit your response, so then we can get an overview of. So as we can see from our first, we have keep current long-term sustainability. I also agree with that one. Actually, that's the one I put first. And take a holistic approach. It's going, so be interoperable across software and disciplines, be appropriate. Of course, all the key elements that we have put, they're also very important. And the idea of this poll is just to rank them according to your experience and your knowledge. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I think this is very useful, as we have a very important program this morning and this night. I guess that we can go into the next slide. So question number 2, what are the key requirements for digital tools to effectively present World Heritage sites? So the elements of the recommendation that we have been proposing based on our rapporteurs is link tangible assets with intangible heritage, connect histories with the aims, goals, purpose of the site, provide a platform for telling multiple narratives, use multiple forms of media, and follow ethical standards for interpretation, accurate, inclusive, impartial, fair, and respectful. And please put any comments on next to these elements. So next to the slide on Miro, you have a space to put your recommendations or your remarks or your suggestions next to each of these questions. So question number 2, what are the key requirements for digital tools to effectively present World Heritage sites? And then here you see the elements of the recommendation. Link tangible assets with intangible heritage, connect again histories with the aims, goals, purpose of the site, provide a platform for telling multiple narratives, use multiple forms of media, and follow ethical standards for interpretation. Accurate, inclusive, impartial, fair, and respectful. So, and then the question number 3, how can data and information be shared using digital tools? Elements of the recommendation, create an interactive collaborative platform to share data and information on the condition of the sites, develop an open platform for sharing case studies to demonstrate how policies can be implemented, replicated, and scaled up, and support peer learning to the building capacity. And thank you, Yeyun, for helping me with the slides. I know we have to move a little bit faster. So question number 4, how can IT systems be managed in sustainable way of World Heritage sites? And elements of the recommendations set common standards for data collection and archives, secure stable operating funding for data storage, security systems, maintenance and updating, develop strategies to keep IT systems current, and review policy at regular intervals to adjust to changing technology. And I think I just read Divay's part. So you can go next, Divay, okay? Sorry for that.
No problem. In fact, just before we take the next question, I just wanted to add that we got several policy recommendations from the Globinar, which Mario just introduced. And these many of these recommendations were actually distilled into these 6 basic questions, from where we are wanting to understand the priority and their relevance. And the approach mainly, because there are several people which are of diverse background that we want to engage. So the approach has been both top down, which is where we are looking at certain policy intervention at the operational guideline, as well as a bottom up approach, where we would like to empower and facilitate the state parties in being able to use the IT technology more effectively, for which I think we are now looking at developing a toolkit. So question number 5, based on that is, how can we build capacity in using digital tools? The elements of recommendation being providing on-site training in local language, establish online support, encourage intergenerational mentorship, and develop World Heritage IT Toolkit. So you can decide in the Miro board. You are most welcome to give your comments or questions or add to any of these aspects that you feel like. And the next question is a quick poll question. And you can go back to the Polls Everywhere link and again, maybe rank these 4 aspects on on-site training, online support, intergenerational mentorship, or World Heritage Toolkit. Okay, great. I think the poll is over. So as you can see, I think people prefer an on-site training, as well as, like we said, that I think the toolkit is also very important. Okay, so then the last question being, how can IT support intersectoral collaboration to conserve World Heritage Site? Elements of recommendation being develop strategies to build intersectoral networks, set common standards for participation in data collection and access to digital information, encourage interactive database to support effective decision-making, or promote capacity building for digital literacy. All of these are important aspects, but you can add or suggest what is more relevant or what needs to be prioritized as per your experience or exposure to World Heritage. And lastly, we're going to be looking at another quick poll. And if you could describe in just one word your approach in creating this intersectoral collaboration, you are most welcome, like the word cloud that we did earlier, to write just one word in your poll question. I think somebody wanted me to repeat the four aspects. The first is develop strategies to build intersectoral networks between communities, government, NGOs, or private sector, or to set common standards for participation in data collection and access to digital information, encourage interactive database, promote capacity building for digital literacy. But this, you'll just have to use one word that describes your experience. With that, I think we are through with the poll question, and I'll forward to Haifaa to explain more about the toolkit. Haifaa, over to you, please.
Yeah, thank you, Divay. This toolkit came as a response to the first meeting recommendations. So we decided to have two levels of intervention to enhance the World Heritage system. One will be mainly for decision-making processes, and the other will be for people who work on ground and practitioners, professionals. So this is the initial thought, to have an e-platform or a toolkit. It's actually came as one of the major recommendations by people who attended the meeting, last meeting on 9th of January. So you will see that we defined mainly 6 main areas or dashboards or to cover. First one will be on like creating a network of experts, practitioners, professionals, and institutions. And the second will be focus on how we can have tools for interpretation and narratives. The third we will talk about ITs and other tools that will be accessible for people, like management effectiveness tools that already there, but we're going to promote it and work on it further. Impact assessment, monitoring processes, risk assessment, and preparedness, interpretation, and storytellings. We also give a priority for capacity building, what kind of capacity building we can offer on this platform, such as we can announce that training opportunities around with other institutions. This is what how we can use this robust network that will feed into other main points and items. So also we thought that maybe we need to have one place for all data to gather all these data around and about World Heritage sites available there in one place, either by having in there as data or as information, or we can put a link for other website that can direct you to these data. Also, we thought that maybe also make some data available so they can, like site managers, practitioners can use it, such as aerial photographs, shape files, and boundaries for World Heritage sites, for instance. And the last one will be about planning and conservation, that decision support tools to help people who take decisions on conservation status or risk assessment or management and conservation, how to assess benefits and ecosystem, and all these tools, how these tools can help the decision process, decision-taking process for those practitioners. So by then I move back to Liz and Doug. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for being with us. Yeah.
Thank you, Haifaa, Divay, and Mario, for providing that overview. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to move into more of a Q&A. We're going to use Poll Everywhere to do that. You know, some of you have seen some activity on the Miro board. If you have questions there, it'd be great to get them into the Poll Everywhere so we have everything in one spot, but we'll try to make sure we gather all the questions. We're still going to keep all the microphones muted, and please use your real name. And yeah, the best thing is to express your questions through Poll Everywhere so that we can find it. It also gives you the option, if you're open up the platform, that you can upvote questions that you have an interest in so that we don't have the need to repeat questions. And please try to not use the chat box for questions, and we'll move into it and try to get some of these questions answered in more of an interactive session. So I think it is open now for people to ask some questions of the panelists. Or even anything that has come through on the Miro board.
People are thinking.
Yeah. I have a question for Haifaa. How do you see this toolkit evolving as a result of these kind of continued discussions? Maybe you can speak to that.
Yeah, so actually this is still initial idea. So we are starting like little by little, like step by step. So we are now starting just to develop this conceptual idea of how we want to, like how this toolkit gonna cover different aspects of the of World Heritage needs, World Heritage practitioner needs. And then we also looking that maybe we can get feedback from people who are attending our workshop, that they can give us ideas. And the thing is also that it will be interactive platform, so people can feed in to this platform, or they can also, and other institutions also, because when they updated their like platforms or information, so it won't be like just a platform that's owned by someone. It will be like someone or another an institution will let's say host it in general, but it will be more like interactive and more it would get input from everybody. This is the idea.
Yeah. Something like an open source information system. Yes. We'll have something like very static and but like data in general that uploaded, but also people can upload their own data and they can do their own analysis on their own site. So this is an idea also to have like something like Google Earth, but more specific for World Heritage. So people can upload their own shape files and they can do their own maps and produce their own maps, their own analysis based on their needs.
Great,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Yes. You'll notice the questions are coming in really well right now. Maybe if we could start tackling some of these. So the first one and the first question that came up is, and I'm leaving this open to all the people that are on the Our World Heritage Initiative. What is the key responsibility of state parties in providing data for the information technology platforms?
So thank you, Doc. I think that the key responsibility of state parties is to share information about their sites, right? And this is something that is coming about data transparency and many other aspects. As we can see, for instance, an example from the COVID pandemic is this Job Hopkins platform, right? Where we can see the data of people, being infected, the people being, treated, etc. Death toll of the pandemic. And this is all coming from data from the government, right? So I think that that's the same way I see it from my end.
Great, thank you, Mario. We have a tie on the next most popular question. So let's go to this. How do you obtain information on the public when your site is an open public park?
Well, I would say that one is, what is it an open public park, right? And how do you obtain information? Well, I have been reading some literature about data, collecting data, right, from different sensors, social media, etc. Can we do this for the platform if it's a public park? Is a question. Now, I quite don't get the question very well. I guess public means something like for everyone. I don't know if Divay or Haifaa want to also take this question.
Yeah, sorry. The question is how.
Yeah, I think the question is maybe just trying to get at the challenge of gathering information when it's sort of an open and public area.
Yeah, I don't think it's an easy thing, but it's like, as we say, that one of the major like ideas, and like, let's say that we have something customized for each site and for each challenge you have. You cannot have one like specific approach that you follow, but it's actually developed by based on the site needs and based on the site itself. So sometimes you have two sites with the same, let's say, characteristic, but you should implement two different approaches. So it's not easy, it's easy answer, but it will be more easy to say that you can customize it as you need.
And I would like to add that, when it's about public and a public park, I think the best source in the first webinar that we looked at was open source or crowdsourcing. So if you can sort of put information into the public domain, people tend to anyways give you information already. I mean, crowdsourcing, I would say in one word, is one of the ways of obtaining information for public areas.
Excellent response. So I'm just looking down at some of the earlier questions. Can we create an independent platform for monitoring World Heritage sites? Who would like to tackle that one?
Well,
So
we
I would say
can't,
that
but we would like UNESCO to surely, perhaps consider something like that. But we as an initiative can maybe develop or make environment for a better monitoring of World Heritage site, be it independent or collaborative. I think that is for UNESCO to decide. But the whole idea of this initiative is to have much more, I think, public participation in both monitoring and interpretation. And like I said, that this is like two ways of approaching. One is having intervention at the operational guideline, which is the UNESCO side, but there is also what Haifaa was saying from bottom up, where the state parties themselves, I think, are facilitated in using IT and having more transparency, what Mario said. Maybe Mario would like to add more to this.
No, I think it's possible to create an independent platform. One example is the Open Streets, the foundation that actually is providing, free open source data for many humanitarian actions. And I think that that's one model that we could follow in the future. Now, always the issue is how much data do we have? How much data can we harvest, or how much data can we get? And this, I think, is one of the major issues.
Yeah, I would like to add something, that the platform actually intended to have such a platform. So if you go back to the platform, you will see that we already added monitoring as one of the IT tools we can use, we can provide, and we are thinking that we could have something like that. It also depends on the state parties and like site managers and whoever in their input. But I think, yeah, this is one of the most important things, and that's why the ultimate goal of our initiative is to enhance the conservation and protection of these sites. So monitoring, one of the major things that can affect everything else, like all activities, like decisions, and like all other activities, like capacity building needs, and etc., etc. So yeah, please give your comments and ideas directly into the on the toolkit, so we can also include your ideas. Yeah, thank you.
Great, thank you. I know I think we're just about to wrap up with this session. So Haifaa, I think that was a great maybe last point. Is there was a big question on how people can collaborate on this toolkit. I think certainly leaving comments on the Miro board, adding comments, but is there anything else that we call to action that we want from the attendees right now that are interested in doing further work on this?
Just like maybe if they would like to collaborate, they can put their emails in the sticky notes and we can follow up with them later, because this is a big thing and we need as much support as we can. It's not easy, and it's need a lot of it's need a numerous work and of people and support. Yeah, so
wonderful. So with that, I'm gonna pass it back to Doug to move on to the next session, talking about this competition and the industry showcase and announcement of prizes.
I just want to thank everyone again for joining us at this event. This is really a lot of fun, this next session that I'm dealing with. And during this session, we'll be announcing the prizes for our global competition. And afterwards, we will give the floor to our industry partners to showcase their latest technologies and services in the area of information technology. But before we start, we'd like to acknowledge the generosity of our industry partners and supporters who contributed to our initiative and demonstrated their commitment in the support of new ideas and research related to the protection of our World Heritage sites. And again, thank you for your fantastic contributions and for helping us move forward with this initiative. A kind reminder to all participants that you can go through our Miro board platform to put your questions or notes next to these slides in case you have any questions or inquiries or clarification. So, and you're also welcome to check our industry speakers bios also on the Miro board. So to begin with the big prize, Zoller and Froelich is one of the leading suppliers of terrestrial and mobile laser scanners in the world, providing high-speed, accurate, phase-based laser measurement and scanning systems. Zoller and Froelich focuses on innovative and future-oriented concepts in product development, which improve the workflow and achieve outstanding results. They were distinguished by the high accuracy of their technology, range, and speed, as well as reliability, excellent workmanship, and flexibility. So for the initiative, Zoller and Froelich is making a considerable contribution by offering a brand new ZNEF Imager 5016 3D laser scanner as an extended loan for our winning teams to dimensionally record their respective sites. They will also include a license for the operating software during the scanning period. And if needed, ZNF can manage to arrange a temporary dongle license for the teams if they need an extension for that software application. They will also provide online support and training to the winning teams. Now I'm going to switch over to Joe, and he will.
Wow, thank you, Doug. We also have Capturing Reality, who are contributing. And Capturing Reality is the company who created Reality Capture, the photogrammetry software which creates 3D models out of unordered photographs or laser scans without seams. The most common fields of its current use are cultural heritage, art and architecture, full body scanning, gaming, surveying, mapping, visual effects, and virtual reality. It is currently the fastest solution on the market, which brings effectiveness to your work and allows you to focus on your targets. So Capturing Reality is making a generous contribution also by offering a limited license for the shortlist teams that will be participating in the competition if needed in the proposal phase they will be working on in the coming months. Also, they are providing a free licenses, either credits or standard license as a prize for the winning teams. They are willing also to provide expert software coaching to the teams if needed to explore the best ways to use software. So thank you, Capturing Reality. We go over to Hyeseung now.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Joe. So we have, World Sensing. The World Sensing is a startup focused on the Internet of Things and the smart cities. It offers innovative urban traffic management in cities, infrastructure management, and the civil engineering product. It also provides, load sensing products that monitor critical infrastructure such as historic buildings and civil works with wireless communication and low consumption of power. So World Sensing is making a generous contribution by offering a coaching for the winning team on its devices and services and the best way of practice. And also they are going to offer an IoT technology kit, which is composed of IoT devices, sensors, and softwares. So this offer is valid under one following condition. The winning team members must submit to the World Sensing planning and a detailed project plan on the site on which they are willing to implement this type of technology. They must agree to share the project result with the World Sensing in order to ensure that this offer will not be stuck in the laboratories. And this is because World Sensing would like to make sure that it would be used wisely and efficiently in order to help monitor the heritage sites.
Thank you, Hyeseung. And also we have Sintu, who is offering us a huge contribution tool. Sintu is a cloud service that allows to upload and access 3D laser scanning projects from around the world and from any devices that can be connected to the internet. And they developed a technology that enables users to convert point cloud data directly on the cloud to 3D meshes and reconvert it when required. It also enables scan to BIM and scan versus BIM workflows, allowing laser scanning to be fully integrated in collaborative BIM processes. Sintu is making generous contribution by offering a free access to the platform for the winning team to hold their own scan data, and a 2-year subscription with up to 5,000 scans for the winning team. Back to you, Hyeseung.
Yes. We have the Time Looper. Time Looper is a virtual reality time travel app and a development and video sharing platform. Through a smartphone and cardboard viewer, users can easily observe authentic cultures of past societies and relive the monumental event in a deeply connected, immersive, and emotional way. Time Looper is making a generous contribution by offering a free Explorer license for 1 year for the winning team. Thank you very much. And Douglas?
Yes, so we have 2 more announcements. One is an in-kind contribution from Elucidaire, the Elucidaire project, who are offering 2 free registrations to their next summer or winter school in 2021 called Built Heritage Documentation in Transition in Leuven, Belgium, for 2 winners of the global competition, which also includes the travel costs. And then the second one is the global competition winning proposals will be showcased during the OurWorldHeritage event in 2022. during the UNESCO World Heritage Committee meeting to illustrate the transformational impacts of information technologies in monitoring and presentation. And Joe.
Great, so let's start now with Time Looper. Michael O will be presenting now. So Michael O is from Seoul, Korea. He double majored Western History and Business Administration in Seoul National University. After college, he worked for IBM Korea and went to Harvard Business School for MBA. He worked for Oliver Wyman Strategic Consulting in Seoul, Germany, Brazil, and the US office. In 2016, Michael joined Time Looper as Asia General Manager and led Angkor Wat, Hong Kong, Japan, and Korea projects so far. So Michael, the floor is all yours.
Hey, hi everyone. Very nice to meet you. And I feel very honored to have the great opportunity to introduce Time Looper to you. Okay, so let's dive in. Let me share my screen. So we're going to talk about some of the Time Looper's innovative tools related to the World Heritage Sites. So everybody knows where this is, the Great Pyramid in Egypt or Great Wall in China. People love these places because not only about the grandeur of the buildings themselves, but the wonderful stories underlying them. So people love to visit there and feel those stories when they visit there. But the reality could be a bit different. It can be too crowded to feel the story, or they're not in the perfect shape anymore to feel it. So Time Looper thought that these wonderful places have great story, just like this. And what if we can bring these stories into life with our technology? Then people will love it even more. So thanks to this idea, we could work with the world prestigious heritage sites so far. We see some familiar names here, like a Tower Bridge of London, or CNN, the broadcasting company, or we even work with the Ministry of Tourism of each country, including Cambodia for Angkor Wat projects, Hong Kong, Japan, and Korea. So today I'm gonna share a couple of case studies of these. So this is, you can see, visit the site and using your smartphone, you can experience the history happen within Angkor Wat. So you can see how the temple was constructed and how the inside of the temple looked back in the glorious days. So this project was from 2017, one of the first projects of the Time Looper. So we created this virtual reality content for on-site consumption. So when people visit there and watching our content, it can enrich their visiting experiences. At first, when they heard about a virtual reality, they were concerned about, hey, what if virtual reality replaces the actual visiting, actual tour? But our idea is to supplement the visiting experiences. So the local community understood and they loved our idea. And as you can see in the right-hand side, the historians and the tour guides loved our content and used our content when they're giving the tour. So both tourists and the tour guides were really happy with the results. And 2020, everyone knows what happened. Due to COVID, people couldn't travel and they couldn't visit the heritage sites anymore. The only way they can see the heritage site was through the online or the Zoom like today. So Time Looper thought we would like to create some platform, and we named it Explore, which enables virtual field trip. Let's watch another short video clip. So there are so many wonderful World Heritage sites, and we create them online so people can access anywhere they are. So you can deploy this World Heritage sites in your living room, in the classroom, anywhere. And the partners can provide the contents they want to provide to the users through our platform. And it works so smoothly with the Zoom, so we can provide this tour, a virtual field trip, to as many people as we want. And we have worked with so many partners already. So I'm going to share one of the most recent Explorer project case in Incheon. Incheon in South Korea is well known for a very famous international airport. But back in old days, it was one of the ports, one of the first ports open to the international cities in 19th century. So we created, as you see in the middle, we created this virtual map of the 19th century Incheon. So the landscape, buildings, even the seashore line is different from the present day. And in this map, it's a 3D, you can play with it. And in this map, we put the district building, which doesn't exist today, but you can meet these buildings in 3D AR, or you can see some key previews of the key heritage sites. And I'm gonna do how it works with the Zoom, how it works with Zoom. So I'm gonna connect my phone. So I'll try to show you how easy it is to provide the virtual filter with your smart devices. So I'm connected. So you're seeing what I'm seeing on my phone. Click to launch the app. Scan the floor. And here you go. Here's the Incheon 19th century. So I can enlarge, shrink, and rotate as I want. And I can get very close to the buildings to see the details of the historic sites, just like that. And we see Jemupo Club over there. And if I click that,
인천에 거주하던 독일, 미국, 러시아 등 각국 거류진의 인들의 사교장으로 1901년 6월 22일 준공되어 1914년 각국 거류지 제도가 철폐되기까지 사용되었다. 선교사 헐버트가 발행한 코리아 리
So this is how it works. So smoothly with the platform. And the Incheon project is called Smart Tourism City Development. And Incheon is even preparing for after COVID. So they're providing the same map. But if the users are using this map on site in Incheon, they will be able to see their location in that avatar form. And once they move to the historic sites, the pin can be activated, and when the user click the pin, they will be able to see the specific, the location-specific content, just like the Angkor Wat ones. So the way we work with the partner is the following 3 steps. So the first one, experience design, is collaborative work. So we decide what story to tell in what manners, and based on that, we move on to the second stage, content production, and finally, in the third stage, we deploy those contents on our proprietary platform. So once those contents are ready, we can customize the way of service, whatever the client wants. So just like Angkor Wat, it can be 100% on-site operation, or as in our Pearl Harbor, it can be hybrid between on-site and off-site. Or just like the most recent one, the Petra in Jordan. So this is for 100% remote operation. So this was quite a short presentation, but I believe there can be a lot of questions. So there are my emails, and you can reach out to us freely, and I'll be happy to answer them. So that is it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for that really incredible presentation. Okay, our next presentation from our contributors is from Zoller and Froelich, and this is a recorded presentation by Chris Held and Daniel Blersch. Chris studied computer science and media at Hochschule Furtwagen in Germany and holds a Master of Science in Engineering and Geomatics from the University of Cape Town. Since 2012, Christoph has worked as an application engineer and part of the development team for laser survey development on digital workflows and market development at Zoller and Froelich. Daniel studied architecture in Florence and in Eindhoven and graduated on the analysis of Etruscan timber architecture based on 3D survey and voluminous hypogeum in Perugia. Since 2011, Daniel joined the development team of Zoller and Froelich as an application engineer for laser survey technology, workflows, and market development. So if we could start the video, please. Thank you.
Good morning and good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of this audience. So this is Daniel Blersch and Christoph Held from ZNF, and we are looking forward to introducing you to the company. Zoller and Froelich is a family-driven company with competence and tradition in electrical engineering. The headquarters of this company is located in southern Germany, near the Swiss border. Together with our subsidiaries in the United Kingdom and the United States, we have established a capillary distribution network supported by numerous local partners all over the world. Started in the 1960s with industrial switchboard cabinets as supplier to the automotive industry, today ZNF offers a large product portfolio, which is extended to wiring technology and terrestrial laser scanning devices. Thanks to the diversity of R&D and skilled handcraft, the products are designed, manufactured, and assembled all in-house. In the 1990s, ZNF started to pioneer laser scanning and is among the technology leaders since then. From the beginning, the ZNF laser scanners have been distinguished on the market to be fast, accurate, and reliable. This is as a result of the company's experience with the high industrial quality standards. Further important steps in the evolution of laser scanning in ZNF have been the integration of high dynamic range colorization, so photographic color, and the adoption of infrared photography in order to provide additional dimensions to the point cloud. The systems are open to collaborate and communicate with complementary technologies from other manufacturers, such as here in the image, handheld scanners, in order to provide a maximum flexibility to the user. For special applications, the outcomes can be customized. So, for example, the archiving of metadata and paradata, such, for instance, for cultural heritage documentation. The workflows have been simplified, automated, and optimized for holistic digital documentation of cultural heritage sites of each size, even when operated in harsh conditions. So today's scanner generation offers easy and professional use without contradiction. I pass over to my colleague Christoph.
Hi. ZNF laser scanning technology can be used wherever 3D documentation is necessary. While it is being used in the industry because of its high quality data and robustness, it has always also been used around the world for various cultural heritage documentation and monitoring projects. Its flexible and universal design allow it to be used for a wide range of projects, no matter if it's ancient rock formations like in Stonehenge, or complex churches like the Cathedral of Cologne. This was, for example, documented by the 3DOM project under the lead of Professor Douglas Pritchard and the Heriot-Watt University and the Fresenius University of Cologne. About 700 high-resolution scans were performed to document the church in its entire beauty and detail. Heritage does not necessarily need to be old, famous, or easily accessible. For example, the British Antarctic Survey recently documented an old British research base in the Antarctica to create a record of its current state, so people from everywhere can immerse into the environment. Not as cold, but also under extreme conditions, the Zamani project under the lead of Professor Heinz Rüther at the University of Cape Town documents cultural heritage sites in Africa and also beyond. For example, the pyramids of Meroe in Sudan, the famous archaeological park of Petra in Jordan, the temples and pagodas of Bagan in Myanmar, the Jingarabir Mosque of Timbuktu, Mali, the Peace Memorial Museum of Zanzibar, Tanzania, the rock art caves in South Africa, or the rock-hewn churches of Lalibela in Ethiopia are just a few of the examples they documented so far. These sites are archived and made accessible for people around the world. That documentation is important is unfortunately shown again by the latest tragic case of the House of Wonders of the UNESCO World Heritage Site, Stone Town on Zanzibar, Tanzania. The 19th century ceremonial palace recently collapsed at a large extent at the end of 2020, where also its prominent tower got destroyed. Fortunately, the Zamani project has documented the building in 2019 in high detail and has just been there again to document the current state after the collapse, to help the expert analyzing the situation, and hopefully the data can help to be restored to its entire beauty. This emphasizes once more the need for documentation and even monitoring, as we'll never know when it will be too late. It is because of these kind of documentation projects that which ensure that our heritage is preserved for future generations. And this is why ZNF is proud to be part of the Our World Heritage initiative and will actively support it to preserve our precious heritage for future generations. Thank you.
So our next presentation will be Scene 2 by Dominique Polia. Dominique Polia is one of the co-founders of Scene 2, a startup with offices in France and the USA, developing Scene 2 Cloud, a reality data management and collaboration platform for the digital twin industries. He is the CEO of Scene 2 US Corporation and is based in Miami, Florida. He runs the product management and the business development for the company. Before co-founding Scene 2, Dominique held several positions, including product management and business development at Autodesk in the Reality Solutions team. Dominique holds a master's in engineering from École Supérieure d'Électronique de l'Ouest in Angers, France. So now Dominique is going to present his presentation.
Welcome to this presentation of Scene 2 Cloud. And thank you to the Our World Heritage organization for this opportunity to present our platform to your worldwide community. I'm Dominique Pouliquen, one of the co-founders of Scene 2, in charge of business development and product management. And Scene 2 is a company based in France and in the US. The problem that we're solving is the following. You're all aware that of the use of laser scanning to capture and document cultural heritage sites. This technology has been used for 40 years, and the good news is that there are new devices now available on the market that democratizes this technology even more. I'm speaking about mobile LiDAR devices or LiDAR on drones, for example. Those laser scanners produce a very accurate and trustful point cloud with an accuracy that can go down to a few millimeters. Today, this technology is the best available and the most deterministic one to capture a site with a trustfulness on the level of detail that are required for its future preservation. One of the challenges, though, after you have laser scanned a site, is the size of the data and the complexity of its usage. And this is a problem that we are solving. Sintu has developed a unique point cloud to mesh to point cloud technology, which took many years of research and development. We can turn each point cloud from each scan into a very high resolution 3D mesh that you can then stream very fast in a web browser. People will call us the Netflix for 3D data for this very reason. One first good news about this point cloud to mesh technology is that it will make the laser scan data 10 to 20 times lighter and therefore much easier to upload to the cloud. The other very good news about this technology is that it retains the accuracy of the source scans and the structure of the project, and we are then able to perform the mesh to point cloud inverse transformation so that you can get back your point cloud in its original form, size, density, color, and structure. And this is very unique to Sintu. Why perform a mesh to point cloud to inverse transformation when you could natively export photo texture meshes instead? This is because a lot of CAD or BIM desktop-based modeling software, such as the Autodesk Revit, read and are optimized for those point cloud workflows. So you may need a point cloud for your scan to BIM modeling, for example. This core technology is embedded into Sintu Cloud, a platform that will make your laser scans fully cloud compatible. That means shareable, collaborative, viewable from anywhere at any time in a simple web browser, and distributable to various stakeholders, project members, or contractors. You can enrich your laser scan data with annotations, issues, or measurements. And with Sintu Cloud's mesh-based streaming and viewing, you give access to your scans to many, many more users who are probably not experts in point clouds. Now is the time for a live demo of Sintu Cloud, and for this demo I will use a work carried out by the Detroit Volterra Foundation, a non-profit foundation which has been created by the alumni and faculty of the School of Architecture, University of Detroit Mercy. Their goal is to not only fund the renovation of the building of the former art of school of the ancient city of Volterra, Italy, and to create an international residential college, but also to scan the various buildings of this very ancient city. They organize reality capture workshops every year, and this is a result of their work. Now let me switch to the demo. So now I'm in Sintu Cloud. I'm using Google Chrome as a browser, and there's been 16 sites captured in the city of Volterra. Let me start by the baptistry. The baptistry has 16 scans, so 16 vantage points. You can see all of them here. Since we use this unique point cloud to mesh technology, when I go to Play 3D, I will then see first the panoramic image corresponding to this exact vantage point. But this is now also a 3D model. So when I go to 3D surface mode, I will see the high resolution mesh corresponding to the exact geometry that has been captured by the laser beam. Okay, on this mesh will reveal details that probably are not visible otherwise in the typical point clouds. You can see this is a color mesh, but this is a surface, and you can see every single detail that has been captured. So this is what this technology is all about, is revealing details that are very almost impossible to see otherwise with other point cloud technologies. So another interesting aspect of it also is that, let's say you have a scan like this, that is, this is a capture. This is a panoramic image that has been captured. And you can see there is a lot of overexposure because this scan is trying to capture both the inside and the outside at the same time. But what has been captured by the laser beam is absolutely visible using the mesh technology. So you see, the mesh will reveal what has been captured by the laser beam, even if there has been overexposure or underexposure in your scans, okay? Make it much easier to view the geometry. So you see that switching from scan to scan, navigating the scans, you will see the mesh streaming happening. And if I zoom in, I will stream even more levels of details until I can see the very fine aspect of these beautiful stones. You can also navigate outside the vantage points, of course, being in a 3D navigation mode, like this one. And also, this is the RGB version of it, but you can also switch to the X-ray vision mode, and this will allow you to see all the scan positions in your building. Let me show you another example. Going back to my projects, here is the Volterra Palazzo. So this one has a little more scans in it, like 100 scans. They've been organized in various work zones, but there is also a BIM modeling. So when I go to the 3D view now, I will display not only the scan data, but the BIM model as well that has been built from the scan data. So when I go into one of those vantage points here, I can see the scans and the BIM model. Let me switch off the BIM model first so that you can enjoy the beautiful scan data. And again, you see the quality of the mesh here. If I bring back the colors, you will see the beauty of those paintings. Now, I also have a BIM model that has been created from this scan. So I put it back here, and I can use this comparison tool that will allow me to compare all the scans to the models. And here I can switch the visual check tool. So you will see this is the scan data. Let me go to the surface mode. So this is the scan data. So the as-built conditions. Okay, and if I move my slider to the right, this is a scan. This is a BIM model. Okay, so this is a BIM model created from the scans, and this is the original scan data. So what you can do as well is use this visual diff tool that will highlight in red everything different between the as-built condition on the scan and the BIM model. So this is what SyntoCloud is about, is providing you with an easy way to see and view and share your data as a mesh, do some comparisons. You can also compare various sets of scans shot are taken at very different times, and you can also compare to a CAD model or a BIM model and do a report. You can add annotations, you can do measurements, of course, but we would need more time to go over these details. If you're interested, feel free to contact me. Thank you very much for your attention.
Whoa, a great technology and platform from Synto. Now let's go to world sensing. We have Andrea Bartoli. Dr. Andrea Bartoli received a PhD in telecommunications engineering at the Telecommunications Technology Center of Catalonia in Barcelona. He worked as investigator and project manager in the Information Security Group, ISG, at UPC until 2014. The last year, he joined World Sensing to work as project manager for the innovation department of this SME. Actually, he is the director of the business development unit, and he's providing master classes in renowned international business schools and universities regarding IoT, Internet of Things, and BI. Without further ado, Andrea Bartoli.
Dear all, welcome to this new session. I'm Andrea Bartoli. I'm the director of the business development unit in World Sensing, and I'm here to introduce World Sensing in partnership with our World Heritage Initiative. So in this session, we are going to introduce our load sensing technology, and we are going to present 2 use cases where load sensing have been used on heritage site for geotechnical monitoring process. First of all, I would like to introduce load sensing as an industrial company. We are leader on Internet of Things application. Our main expertise are related to geotechnical, geospatial, and structural project. We are able to deploy our technology on this specific project and in collaboration with our customer with solving the main issues due to monitoring on this specific application. We are very active on 4 main verticals. One of them is the mining. We are very active on the railway, on construction, and in critical infrastructure. It's very important to understand that all these verticals are quite traditional, so they are not very close to use innovative technology to improve their processes. We are doing a great job together with our customer in trying to introducing and influencing future projects in order to require, since the very beginning, the installation of new technology in order to improve the safety and the effectiveness of industrial process on this specific vertical. As you can imagine, all of them require a very consolidated and mature technology in a very harsh environment where the temperature can be very hot or very cold. So our technology is able to guarantee high performance on this specific harsh environment. If you think about a little bit KPI, our experience since more than 10 years on Internet of Things, so we starting to be leader already when Internet of Things was not really a market, when nobody was thinking or was able to provide solution on this specific application. We design and implement the first prototype. So right now, we already connect more than 150,000 sensors worldwide, and we are deployed on more than 60 countries. So at the end, our technology is used worldwide in many different conditions and many different projects and sites. Let's take a look a little bit more on which are the main reasons why our customer select and maybe decide to use IoT for the specific project. We understood that many of the reason is because the construction of this specific B infrastructure have some kind of defect or some kind of problem since the construction part. So there are already today many infrastructure they need to be monitored very, very constantly and very close just because they have some kind of problem already detected. We also understand that some of our infrastructure that are today monitoring, they have aging problems, so they are old and they need someone always that take a look with specific detail or what's happening over there in order to secure the structure. And finally, in the last year, we see great change on the worldwide climate. So the situation where we have much more rainfall, we have very strong wind presence in some specific area where before these things didn't happen. Of course, change of also the characteristic and that specific B infrastructure need to be monitored on that specific case. Focusing on load sensing as a technology, we talk about end-to-end IoT solution. We have mainly 3 components, let's say 3 plus eventually a visualization tool, but we talk about devices that are deployed in the field that are able to collect information due to the presence of some sensor. There could be temperature, pressure, vibration, a long list of industrial sensors are compatible with our IoT device. Then we have a gateway which is running as a concentrator where several IoT devices are deployed in the field, send this information to the concentrator, with aggregate this information and directly share this information with our software tool, which is aimed to manage device and manage the wireless communication. Finally, the fourth component is a visualization tool that most of the time we can provide it to our customer, but also sometimes we are working in partnership with a third party, and we integrate our solution through typical API to this visualization tool. So if we want to see our offering in more in details, as I said, we have the free component providing end-to-end tool of sensing, and then finally we have a software tool provided with a partner. Very important to understand the characteristic of our system. When we talk about our IoT device, all of them are low power, so they are powered by battery, and they're able to run for more than 5 years on typical environment. So you switch on the device, you plug a battery on it, you deploy in the field, and you forget about it for more than 5 years, because everything will run properly, they will collect information, and they will share this information with the tool. So we already have experience, and we already prove that our solution already deployed for more than 5 years and still running properly and collecting the desired information. Then you have our gateway. Our gateway, it needs electricity, so most of the time is plugged to the electricity, or in alternative, you can deploy a photovoltaics kit in order to run it autonomously without the presence of a fixed electricity cable. And finally, we have our solution in the cloud, where all the data are collected and eventually managed or shared with a other software tool. If you take a look at our value chain and our architecture in another way, you will see that we are providing a solution on the data collection side, so sensor connectivity, network management, and device management. And eventually, if you're already using other platform to collect information, so other kind of information actuator or other kind of device, our suggestion most of the time is to aggregate also our technology. So we are using standard API, we configure a connector, and we share our data collected to your platform. So we don't want to replace the way typical our customer are operating the data collection part. We want just to automatize all this process of deploying and collecting data from geotechnical, structural, and geospatial sensor deployed in the field. If you want to focus a little bit of the use case where load sensing can be used in the past, also today, the first example is Gediminas Tower in Lithuania. Over here, as you can see from the picture, this specific heritage site suffered from a geotechnical issue. Of course, this geotechnical issue, which is landslide, was providing and decreasing the stability and increase the risk of any kind of problem on the structure itself. So load sensing will have been selected. We deploy many devices and many sensors in the field. We collect information in real time, and we propose a software where this data have been used in order to secure the stability of the infrastructure itself, and also to secure that the correction and the recovery process have been done properly. So the idea is that on one side you can secure and be able to collect in real time information regarding the structure, but in other side you can also be sure that all the correction activity is done properly. Another example of similar infrastructure heritage site is the famous Ponte Vecchio bridge in Italy, in Florence. As you can see from the picture, similar geotechnical hazard happened a few years ago. This was 2016. This was 200 meters far away from the bridge. So the Civil Protection Agency decided not only to correct and to recover, of course, the street where this happened, but also monitoring in real time that this specific hazard, this specific problem didn't affect the bridge itself. So they decide to deploy our load sensing IoT device in the bridge and collect information in real time in order to be sure that during the reconstruction activity and also during the month after the reconstruction, the bridge was secure, stable, and the people can go around it without risking anything. Apart from this project, you can see also in our web, there are many more projects, specifically regarding geotechnical, as I said, on 4 main vertical. We are sure our IoT technology can be used, of course, on many sites regarding heritage. Of course, for the time being, our technology is not being vastly deployed on this specific site, also because we have seen that was very, very traditional until now. So we think that in the future, more heritage site will be monitored through IoT, and we think that load sensing is very good candidate for this specific application. If you have any question, please contact us. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, I believe this is our last video. This is from Capturing Reality, and they're going to demonstrate how their reality capture software is currently being used in the cultural heritage field.
Reality Capture is state-of-the-art photogrammetry software which creates 3D models from unordered photographs. The software is widely used in the field of cultural heritage due to its picture-perfect accuracy and its ability to generate 3D models at fast speeds. Reality Capture is also able to combine camera images with laser scans, terrestrial and/or aerial, making it a perfect tool for multimodal projects. SciArc used Reality Capture to combine laser scanning with terrestrial and aerial photogrammetry to document the San Sebastian Basilica in Manila, Philippines. The 3D model provides a baseline record that will inform critical conservation work at the site. The software is designed to make low demands on computer hardware, which allows users to focus on their documentation goals, like capturing the World Heritage Site of Faisal Gebi in Ethiopia.
A big thank you to all the sponsors. There's some great stuff in there. So thank you for everyone for putting those videos together and for sharing the prizes. I think now we're going to move into the evaluation of the global competition. So I'd love to hand it over to Jonathan Bell.
Thanks, Elizabeth, and hello, everyone. It's wonderful to be here with all of you, and I have to say I have the pleasure, the very true and honest pleasure of announcing the shortlisted proposals. I'd like to begin by just recognizing my evaluation committee co-chair, Becca Napolitano, who oversaw much of the evaluation process and gave up more than a few hours of sleep to get us to this point today. So thank you to her. And of course, we wouldn't be here either without the untiring work of our evaluators, who, as you've already heard, reviewed 36 proposals over the past few weeks and managed to shortlist 9 of these, which I will be announcing shortly. As you can imagine, this was a daunting task, given the quality of the submissions and the range of innovative and valuable approaches that they all covered. I wanted to spend just a quick minute reminding us all of the criteria that we used in looking at the proposals that came through. And I think we have a slide of those criteria, but just really quickly, key aspects of that were the composition of the team, the appropriateness of the technology for the tasks at hand. Also, there's the description, the clarity and amount of information in the description of the key aims and challenges. And then, of course, also the explanation of the needs and budget. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into the matter at hand and share our short list of 9 proposals with you. And I should say these are in no particular order, but we're going to start with the historic city of Ahmedabad, India. This was a proposal offered to us by Samiha Seth, the director of the Center for Innovative Developments in Ahmedabad, and also Dr. Esther Van Stekelenburg, director and co-founder of iDiscover App and Map in Hong Kong. And this project helps Ahmedabad locals to gain agency in the presentation, interpretation, and preservation of the old city. It's based on a 2-year pilot storytelling project with a strong focus on the lesser heard voices of women and children. So we will quickly move on to the next proposal on the short list, and that is Ma'arat al-Numan Museum in Syria. And this was proposed by teams from the ARC project and ARTIV. And this is a project that aims to engage local communities near the museum to provide training and technical assistance in digital archiving, photogrammetry, and online registrations. Training through the system can be accessed by average Syrians through portable broadband devices and satellite internet. So it really makes a lot of this wonderful information and the processes available to average Syrians, which is fantastic. On to the next one. This is Kahuzi Biega National Park in the Democratic Republic of Congo. This was a proposal put together by Dr. Augustine K. Basabos from the Democratic Republic of Congo. This is a project that is focused on using camera traps for close surveillance of populations of Grauer's gorillas and also of other species living in the park. It also folds in the use of drones to monitor human activity that can be troubling, particularly illegal activities like deforestation, poaching, logging, mineral extraction, and many other things that are unfortunately taking place in some of the targeted areas of the park. So congratulations to that and the projects before. Next, we have Wulingyuan Scenic and Historic Interest Area in China. This was a proposal put together by Professor Feng Han, who's the director of the Department of Landscape Architecture at Tongji University. Also Dr. Chen Yang, also at Tongji University, and Professor Fulong Chen, actually the vice director of the International Center on Space Technologies for Natural and Cultural Heritage. Wulingyuan Scenic and Historic Interest Area was actually one of the first 3 World Natural Heritage Sites in China. And the project proposes something called the Wulingyuan Nature Culture Lens. And this is a project that aims to develop a head-mounted mixed reality system that would provide a new type of experience of the World Heritage for local communities, thus helping to bridge the gap that often exists between resident communities and the World Heritage Site. So it's a very interesting approach there. The next project, we're traveling around the world, going to Mosi Oatunya, or Victoria Falls. This is actually bridges 2 countries, Zambia and Zimbabwe. This is a project proposal put together by Rosie Mercer from Destination Livingstone and John Zulu from the National Heritage and Conservation Commission. And they are part of a group called Friends of the Falls, which is a group that has come together, apparently a young and nascent group that has come together to assist site managers in cleaning of the site, in monitoring its status, and also in fundraising. And the proposal is about integrating a number of relatively low-tech solutions to some of the challenges for the management of the site. This includes integrating electronic ticketing because they don't really have a sense of who's coming to the site and how many people are showing up, creating a website for the falls, as well as a strategy for social media promotion to bring more people there, and also some webcam monitoring of the falls to be able to help with understanding the status and identify when there are problems or challenges. Okay, and continuing to our trip around the world, we are going to Sesia Val Grande, UNESCO Global Geopark in Italy. This is a proposal put together by a team from the University of Torino, led by Marco Giardino, who's associate professor in the Earth Science Department. And it's a proposal that focuses on improving the process behind the selection and preservation of geoheritage sites. And this is, the idea here is to create a globally accepted definition of geoheritage by creating a database that will pull information together on geological features and provide some transparency to the decision-making processes about site selection and recognition. There would also be an app that would be available to the public and provide various educational and engagement opportunities, including some games, so you can learn a bit about geology and why these features are important and perhaps unique. Okay, on to the next site. It's a whirlwind tour, but I want to make sure that we have time for everything. So we're going to Sagarmatha National Park in Nepal. This proposal was put together by a team led by Dr. Mingma Norbu Sherpa, who is the CEO of the Himalayan Trust in Kathmandu. And the project implements a narrative and social media strategy to establish, I thought this was really interesting, a 15-minute online happiness index survey that would help measure both the well-being of the local community and the well-being of the park in the face of climate change challenges and dwindling wildlife populations. So it's a great way to look at the health both of the people and the environment, and of course an incredible way to engage the community and also get feedback from them on strategies and solutions to the effective management of the park. Okay, I think we have two more left. The next one is El Sagrario Church in Cuenca, Ecuador. And this was a proposal put together by a team from the Catholic University of Cuenca, led by Maria del Cisne Uriauri, who's at the Faculty of Architecture and Urbanism. Faculty of Architecture and Urbanism. It's an interesting approach. El Sagrario Church is the oldest building in Cuenca. It's over 400 years old. And as you can imagine, it has a lot of challenges and threatened by a number of exterior forces. So the project here creates a monitoring system that would warn about the presence of physical and environmental threats. And it's a system that is structured by a network of wireless, non-invasive sensors that are also manufactured with open DIY, that's do-it-yourself, hardware and software. And this would be developed through partnership and collaboration across multiple departments in the university. So a really fascinating approach there. And finally, on to our last, but definitely not least of the shortlisted proposals, we go to Tanzania, Kilwa Kiswani and Songo Mnada. And this was a proposal put together by Dr. Stephanie Wynne-Jones in the Department of Archaeology, University of York, Dr. Elinaza Mjema, the Department of Archaeology and Heritage in the University of Dar es Salaam, and Dr. Sarah Perry, Director of Research in the Museum of London Archaeology. This is about training antiquities staff. This has a kind of a number of pieces to it. So the first is training of antiquities staff at the site, really a number of sites there, in social media use to engage with a wider audience. Also design and construction of a web resource for the Kilwa region that could be used by visitors, and that would include local voices and stories, as well as guidelines for respecting local cultural practices and norms, which I thought was really fascinating and very much needed in many parts of the world and many sites. And then also training in photogrammetric mapping and also providing some of the necessary equipment for that of the heritage buildings in the Kilwa region for ongoing monitoring. So those are our 9 shortlisted proposals, and congratulations to all of the successful nominators, proposers. I know it was a lot of work, and we're delighted to see the richness, the diversity, and there's the incredible innovative ideas, sometimes very high tech and very new thinking, sometimes simpler solutions, but that are equally effective and important. So I'm going to say thank you to all of you and turn this over to Mario.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for announcing all the winners, and the entries are really, really interesting from everything that you described from all corners of the world, and nature, culture, and interpretation, presentation, and monitoring. So now I'm going to explain the mentoring program so that we have put together as our theme, core team. So basically what we plan to do in the next weeks ahead of the final submission of the proposals of these 9 groups is to offer some independent advice. And I think this is important to take into consideration. In our theme, we have been very careful to have one evaluation committee which is completely independent from the mentoring and other committees in this initiative. And this allows to have very transparent results in the evaluation. And also I would like to thank the group of the evaluation, Jonathan and Becca, because one thing, the rubrics were very clear, and then the process was very transparent and very successful. So in this optional program, so we are just proposing our 9 teams to take part of this, is to provide some independent advice, as I said. Let's go to the next slide, please. So basically, we have 2 roles in this mentoring program. So we have the mentors who will provide coaching advice and share experiences from their expertise in World Heritage and Information Technologies, help the teams to identify the strengths and the gaps of their proposals, and maintain confidentiality in the process. So the mentors are the core aspect, meeting the teams, and then we would have a number of advisors that will provide suggestions according to the gaps that we have identified during the mentoring process and share potential resources. So let's go to the next slide. So to do this, we have a 3-tier process. So basically, we will have a meeting one-to-one between the mentors and the individual teams, and this will happen from next Monday up to the 26th of February. Based on the results of this first activity, and we're going to send a number of questions to each of the teams to help them facilitate this meeting, we would have a list of gaps and a first set of recommendations for the proposal, some guidance to improve the proposal, and then opportunities for future development of the team. A list of experts to pitch the revised proposals to, and this will happen in the consensus forums. So this brings me to the second activity, which is the one-on-one coaching ateliers. And this is basically, as we identify the gaps in the first part, we will advise to contact a number of advisors that are associated to our robust network that we have been building, and also to some of our industry partners. I think from the presentations that we have seen from the awards, I am sure that many of the teams will be interested in talking to some of the companies that are offering these services. And this will bring us to the final meeting, which is the consensus forum. And here is basically, we will organize 2 forums in which the teams will be presenting the revised proposals to the mentors, other global competition teams, and a group of selected external experts to provide feedback ahead of the final submission. So just to say, after the one-on-one coaching ateliers, the groups or the teams, the proposals will make a revised version of their proposal. They will make this presentation, and this will allow them to get good feedback for the final submission, which is scheduled for the end of March. All right, so as you see for the format, the Atelier 1 is going to be an individual meeting with the core. The activity 2 is going to be one-on-one coaching appointments to different people. And then the activity 3 is a more consensus building event with 2 forums. Now, just to say that for the meeting with the teams, we foresee 1 hour meeting with each of the teams. And as I said, we're going to be sending some questions to them. If there are some teams present in this call, I would be contacting you right away, starting probably from Sunday morning. And we will try to assign, we would be asking you to nominate 1 person to be the team leader and the contact with the mentors and the advisors. So thank you very much. And I hope that this mentoring program will be useful for the teams. And here you can see our mentors team. As you can see, we have a variety of experts from different parts of the world with different expertise. So thank you very much. And let's go back to Elise and Doc.
Okay, thank you, Mario. So the next steps in terms of what's next for the program is the Globinar 2.0 on April 10th. And if you could save that date.
And then Mario, we'd love to turn it back to you to just sort of talk about what else is coming down in terms of next year and other next steps.
Thank you. So, I mean, we have been so excited, you know, with the Globinars and the webinars and the global competition, and we think that this is an excellent idea to continue next year. So we are planning to host again in 2022 ahead of the World Heritage Committee meeting, a Globinar 3.0. And then we also plan to organize a global competition 2.0, and we are gathering a catalog of proposals from the Global Competition 1, and that will be complemented with the Global Competition 2. And this catalog will allow to see all the entries, the winning entries, and the other entries that have contributed to our robust network. Then we are also planning to have a toolkit portal, and Haifaa was explaining the toolkit idea. And this will be a place where people will find these different toolkits developed by the initiative. And then finally, we have the World Heritage Committee event. As we were explaining, this will happen ahead of the World Heritage Committee meeting. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to foresee if this meeting will be a physical meeting or will be an online meeting. And this is because, of course, the pandemic and the lockdowns. But in this particular event, there will be an exhibition of our transformational impacts of information technology, going from the results of the global competition, the toolkit, and the policy recommendations that we are preparing. So we are really looking forward to continuing this very nice task. And you can see also that the commitment of our industry partners and our organizations is very strong. So thank you so much.
So I think we're going to ask for one last poll here before we move into the final kind of closing video from the tourism team about what else is next with some of the other groups. So if you'd like to all go to poll everywhere. Okay, and we'll give it just a a few more seconds here. It's great to see all the words coming in. And I'm going to go a 3, 2, 1, close the poll. And so now what we wanted to do is we want to introduce the next group that's going to be speaking on or taking part in these activities. The tourism group have prepared a short video introduction.
February will be the month totally dedicated to tourism. We will have during this month 21 events, 210 recommendations on 21 different themes, striving to contribute to the 2021 debates. Let me pass very, very briefly an overview of the events organized during this month. We will have, first of all, our 3 policy events, starting from the one of today. And we hope to see you again on February the 8th and 15th. We also have several regional and thematic events, 3 events in India, 1 event in the Mediterranean, 1 event in France, 1 in Uzbekistan, 1 in Quebec, 1 more organized around the challenges of working with the tourism industry, 1 more thematical on big data, tourism and World Heritage sites, 1 in Latin America, another in Africa, and 1 in China. We will also have an associated event with ESAC, and as Minja reminded before, our closing event will take place on February the 26th. Events can play a very important role by bringing together people from all around the world and by offering a platform for exchange across borders, disciplines, and sectors. However, we hope to contribute to the tourism debate in relation with heritage beyond 2021. This is why we asked to several researchers and businesses or institution representatives to submit recommendations for better synergies between tourism and heritage. We hope to contribute with pragmatic and realistic policy recommendations. Not all of them are new, but all of them are today necessary. And if they are not new, this maybe means that even if there is already a consensus since several years on most issues, it still is difficult to take the necessary measures to implement them. In terms of methodology, concerning the recommendations collection, we started with the Sustainable Development Goals, and we invited our colleagues and partners to make recommendations on heritage and tourism, allowing to achieve these Sustainable Development Goals. We organized the recommendations we collected in 4 main families. Each recommendation addresses a specific target. 10 different targets have been pre-identified. The World Heritage Committee, the advisory bodies, UNESCO, governments, state parties, local authorities, tourism industries, universities, schools, media, and NGOs. All the recommendations are presented theme by theme on the website of the Our World Heritage Initiative. We invite you to read them and to critically react to those recommendations. We really would like to hear from you. We will build on your feedback. At the end of this month, we will work on your suggestions, ideas, and critics. The final recommendations will be yours. We count on you to spread the word and encourage your professional partners, institutions, academics to give feedback. You can react to all 21 themes or simply choose the ones with whom you are more familiar or seem more crucial for you.
Okay. Well, I believe that's it. So on behalf of Our World Heritage, I would like to thank the organizational team who set this, this event up. Of course, the Heritage Site contributors and their competition entries. I'd also like to thank the collaborators and supporters of the initiative. Of course, the industry's sponsors, and then finally, the people, the viewers yourself who have stayed through this entire event. So thank you very much.
And I think we're going to ask everyone to go ahead and turn your camera on for a quick photo. Just a group photo over Zoom to kind of capture the moment. And while we get that set up, I'd just also like to remind everyone we're having the second webinar starts at 2 p.m. GMT London time later today. So looking forward to welcoming other people in other time zones.
Okay, I'm going to
do a countdown.
Yes, I'm going to take a group photo. So please be ready to make a beautiful smile on your face. So 1, 2, 3, smile. Can I take a photo one more? 1, 2, 3, smile. Yes, good. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all again, and enjoy the rest of your days or evenings or mornings, wherever you may be.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you. Bye.
See you in session 2.